thinking about moving to Europe this year, this video is going to help you decide where to go. I've spent the last 25 years traveling around the world, including almost half of the countries in Europe, to help people figure out where to actually live, not just where to go on vacation. So I know exactly what people miss and where the most important differences are between the top countries. Now, many of you already know that I'm moving to Romania this year to get my citizenship by descent, but in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 places that I would move if I were moving to Europe for the first time. I'm going to walk you through who each country is for, what kind of visa options are available, the cost of living, and lots more. So let's get started, and by the end of this video, you'll know if any of these countries are right for you. Spain is at the top of my list, and I want to start there because I know what some of you are already thinking. Spain is on the top of every list, and the rents and costs in places like Madrid and Barcelona are climbing every year. So why is it still my number 1? Well, Spain is a country that has everything on paper, and in my 20 years of experience helping people move abroad, I've never had a single client tell me that they regretted moving to Spain. It has mild weather, a moderate cost of living, friendly people, a strong expat community, and a level of diversity that means you have almost any kind of lifestyle within Spain's borders. But although I wouldn't personally move to somewhere like Madrid or Barcelona right now due to the higher cost and the crowds, you have a lot of options going to a smaller town to get a much more reasonable rent price and still have access to everything. A few things people don't talk about enough is that Spain has one of the best public transport networks in Europe. So getting around the country is really easy, and in fact, it makes traveling around Europe pretty easy as well. If I had to give one main reason why Spain is at the top of my list though, it's because it's the best all-around place to go. It works for you if you're a single, a couple, a family, a retiree, a remote worker, and I can't say that about every country that's on this list. For the cost of living all in for a foreigner in Spain, a single person is usually around 17 to 1800 euro per month, and a couple's budget can go closer to 2200 to 2500 euro. That's with rent, food, transport, healthcare, and basic necessities. It's different for locals, of course, but that's a realistic figure that you can keep in mind. In the case of visas for Spain, the 2 routes that most of my clients use are the non-lucrative visa and the digital nomad visa. For the non-lucrative visa, the income requirement is around $30,000 per year for the main applicant, but it can go up or down. And it can be also more if you want to bring a spouse or other family members. For income for this visa, pensions count, rental income from properties that you own count, and also dividends. So this is one that works really well for retirees and for people with passive income setups. For the digital nomad visa that was developed after the non-lucrative visa, Spain wants to see that you've been actively working for at least the last 3 months, whether that's for a company or on your own. You should also earn around 3,000 euro per month, and also more for a spouse or additional family members. So a family of 4 on a digital nomad visa could realistically require you to show about 4,000 to 5,000 euro per month in proven income. Now, Spain isn't perfect, and a lot of people there talk about mañana time and the bureaucracy and those aspects of the culture. But what I found is actually the hardest for people when they move to Spain is making long-term friendships. Spaniards are often warm on the surface, genuinely friendly people, but they're not really quick to open up their core friend circle to foreigners, especially in places that get a lot of tourism. So that means the work that you have to do there once you move to Spain is more social. Like, you have to actually learn the language and stay long enough for the local people to actually get to know you. I've made full documentaries about what it's like to live in Spain and make friends there, and you can watch them all for free on my channel. I'll give you a little preview of each one. First, we have Heather and Jake, who run their own business and went from digital nomads traveling the world to living in Spain on the digital nomad visa. Then there's Bob and Daphne, a retired couple who moved to Valencia specifically to learn Spanish and connect with the community. And you'll definitely want to meet Julianne and Spencer, who moved to the northern coast of Galicia for Spencer to teach English on a student visa. And this is exactly why Spain is a good, well-rounded option and why I keep putting it at number one. It works for all different types of people at different phases in life. Now, if you're sitting here thinking that Spain sounds like it would work for you, but you're not sure where in Spain to move, well, that's exactly what I help my relocation clients with. We narrow it down to a country, a region, and then a city, town, or neighborhood that would be the best for you to move to. So if that's where you're at, you know you want to move abroad, but you're not sure where exactly, then contact me by the QR code on the screen or the link in the description, and you can apply for a free consultation with my team. I'll also link to a comparison sheet that you can download for free below this video, and this is going to compare some of the top places to live in Europe side by side, including all of the countries that I talk about in this video. The second country on my list is the Netherlands, and yes, I know that it's in a housing crisis right now. Amsterdam rents especially are super high, so why is it here? Well, that's because the Netherlands has a visa that almost no one else in Europe offers. It's called the DAFT visa, or the Dutch American Friendship Treaty visa. And the thing that sets it apart is that you don't have to sit in the US for 3 to 9 months waiting on a consular appointment to apply for this visa, which is what's normally the case for countries like Portugal or Italy. You can actually apply for the DAFT visa after you land in the Netherlands. Just make sure to have your paperwork with you. You'll also have the option to renew this visa after the first 2 years, and after 5 years, you can apply for permanent residency. The difference with this visa is that it's not a digital nomad visa like Spain has. It's one where you actually have to own your own business or work there in person as a freelancer. You also can work remotely, but that's not what it was designed for. It was actually around long before digital nomad visas became a thing. This is also a visa where you can't take a job at a Dutch company, but you can register your business and work as a freelancer, coach, consultant, or online business owner. To qualify for this visa, you have to have a Dutch bank account and keep a fixed deposit of at least 4,500 euro there as business capital, among other requirements. And at the time of renewal, you do need to show that your business is actually making money. While there's no official monthly income criteria on paper after you move there, in practice, you'll need to show that you can continue supporting yourself and that the business is real. I knew that the Netherlands was a place that I could definitely live the first time I went there back in 2013. The calmness of the country really resonated with me. I appreciated the way that everything worked. The trains, the bikes, the infrastructure. The Dutch people are also very straightforward, which is something that I found refreshing, and they're family-oriented, they work hard, and they don't take themselves too seriously. On the cost side, the Netherlands is a pretty expensive pick on this list. An unfurnished one-bedroom can easily cost you around 1,500 euro per month, and a furnished apartment in a popular area of Amsterdam can run you anywhere from 3,000 euro per month to over 10,000 depending on the neighborhood and the length of your stay. So all in, plan on a cost of living of about $3,000 to $6,000 per month depending on where you settle. If you go to a smaller city like Groningen, Leiden, or Breda, for example, you can bring that number down meaningfully without losing out on the lifestyle. The interesting thing about the Netherlands is that there's really no catch. It's just a nice, comfortable place to live with a very high quality of life, and that leads the local people to tend to complain about things that wouldn't be as important in countries that have more serious problems. So you'll hear about politics there and the economy, as you will in a lot of places, and also things like, the trains not being on time all of the time. But overall, it's a place where you can have a really comfortable life. The language is difficult to learn, however, and I certainly haven't learned it. And although many people speak English throughout the Netherlands, it's definitely a place where learning the language gives you an edge, especially when it comes to making friends. I've definitely felt like the awkward American in a lot of situations where I was the only English speaker in the group and everybody had to switch to English just so that I could understand what they are saying. And even though they told me it doesn't bother them, I really feel like it's important to know the language to really integrate with the local community. As for who it's right for, the Netherlands is a good place for working age people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, and anyone who's still working and isn't ready to retire. It's good for online business owners, freelancers, consultants, and anyone doing their own thing, working for themselves. And it's also good for students because there is a study permit route there, and a lot of English language classes are available at the universities. The Netherlands is also a great place to raise a family. The schools are good, the kids can ride their bikes to school, public transport is safe, and the culture isn't too much of a shock to the system if you're coming from somewhere like the US or Canada. But if you're moving there with your family and looking to rent a property, it's important to have some money in the bank account to show prospective landlords. Our property partners in the Netherlands recommend having at least $100,000 in the bank. The Netherlands is not the best place for you if you're a retiree on a fixed income, however, because the DAFT requires real business activity. If you're retiring abroad, there are better countries for retirement, and one of them is the next place on my list. Hi there, if you're enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe for free videos every week about travel, culture, and living abroad. You can also join the Abroad Club on my channel for special perks such as members-only community posts, priority replies to your comments, and early access to new videos. And if you're seriously thinking about making a move yourself, check the link in the description or scan the QR code to learn how I can help you get there. Now let's get back to the video. Albania is a country that could seem quite random to have on this type of list, especially if you've never been there. But I have, and a lot of my clients have decided to move there, and it has a lot of attributes that make it a really interesting and compelling option. The reason that Albania makes this list is that it solves a problem that none of the other popular picks solve: the cost. Americans can also stay there for up to a year on a US passport without a visa application or a consular appointment. You just fly in and start living. However, how long you can stay depends on where you're from. Citizens of some countries only get 90 days visa-free, or they have to apply online through the e-Visa Albania portal. But in many cases, you can skip this application and enter visa-free for anywhere from 90 days up to a year. That alone makes it the most accessible country on this list by a huge margin. And during that year, if you decide you want to stay, you can apply for residency from inside the country, which is a much shorter path than doing it from the US. I first went to Albania on a road trip in 2017 and didn't really know anything about the country when I got there. But I ended up loving it for exactly the same reasons that many people tend to underrate it: the food, the culture, and how different it felt from EU countries I'd been to. Albania is located just outside the Schengen zone, so you have Greece, North Macedonia, Montenegro, and Italy all nearby by ferry, within easy reach for cheap travel. And the cost of living is one of the best parts about living in Albania. Rent for a one-bedroom in the kind of place that my clients like to live is around 350 to 450 euro per month. You can get a sea view apartment there for a few €100, and all in monthly, you're looking at anywhere from 1,000 euro per month if you're being frugal to 2,000 euro if you want to be flexible, and even more if you'd like to live very comfortably. That's a number that genuinely makes Europe accessible, even to a retiree or someone living on savings while they figure out their next move. Talking about visas, Albania has a digital nomad visa and a residency route. They typically want to see your proof of accommodation, health insurance, and that you can support yourself, which works out to at least €1,000 or so per month for the digital nomad visa. There's no specific income threshold like there is in Spain. It's more like showing that you can fund your life there. There is a catch with Albania, however, and I want to say it plainly because it's something people don't really talk about, but it's one of those things where you kind of get what you pay for. If you have this big vision in your mind about living in Europe, somewhere like the Champs-Élysées in Paris or in the center of Amsterdam, you're going to get a much different experience by moving to Albania. It can be a little bit rough around the edges, and don't be surprised if you see trash on the streets or polluted beaches or water. That just comes with the territory, and it's one of the reasons that it's so easy to go there compared to other places is that the country has really opened its borders to investment and people from around the world compared to other places that are very hard to get into, places like the United Kingdom or Ireland, for example, Scandinavia as well. But the trade-off is that it's safe, the internet is fast, and all the modern conveniences are there. It's just not wrapped up in a pretty bow the way some parts of Paris or Amsterdam are. But if you want a country that you can afford to live in comfortably, it is the way to go. Now the question is, which of these 3 countries are for you, or is it a different country? So here's the short summary for you. Spain is the well-rounded answer. If you don't have a strong reason to pick one of the other 2, Spain is probably your move. It has a mid-budget range, the easiest social fabric to find your community in, and a few different visa options. All in, it could cost you around €1,700 to €2,500 per month to live there. Spain is best for anyone leaving the US who wants to slow down, get out of the rat race, and actually enjoy your life on a reasonable budget. The Netherlands is the working age move. If you run your own business, freelance, work as a consultant, or if you're early in your career and want to study and stay there, the DAFT visa is a real path to permanent residency that's rare in Europe. Here, you can expect to pay $3,000 to $6,000 per month for an all-in comfortable lifestyle, with savings in the bank and an opportunity to grow. Albania is the open door. If your budget is tight, your situation is in flux, or if you just want to try living in Europe before you apply for a visa application, Albania is your move. At a cost of living from €1,000 to €2,000 per month, it's the best for budget-conscious movers, fixed-income retirees, and remote workers keeping with a lower budget. Now, if you're pretty much decided that you'd like to move to Europe or elsewhere in the next year and you want to make a plan, then you can contact me with the QR code on the screen or the link below this video and get in touch. And make sure to watch this video next, where I'm going to give you my brutally honest advice for Americans moving abroad for the first time. I'll see you there.